Friends, we all go through difficult times. We experience moments where we feel low, lost, or even stuck in a rut. But what if there's more to it? What if what you're experiencing isn't just a series of unfortunate events, but a deeper, unseen battle? Today, we're going to talk about 5 signs that could show you are under spiritual attack. Unexplained fatigue and exhaustion is one of the clear signs that you may be under spiritual attack. This feeling goes beyond physical tiredness or the regular need for rest. It's a deep, pervasive sense of depletion that doesn't seem to have a clear cause. You might find yourself feeling drained and weary even after a full night's sleep or a restful weekend. You may notice that no matter how much you rest, the fatigue doesn't seem to lift, leaving you exhausted both physically and emotionally. This exhaustion can make it difficult to focus, to be productive, or even to simply enjoy your everyday activities. While many of us experience occasional fatigue due to stress, lack of sleep, or overwork, the kind of tiredness we're talking about here is more than that. It feels all-encompassing, and it's often accompanied by a sense of overwhelm. You might find yourself dragging through your day, unable to summon the energy to complete even the most basic tasks. This can affect every part of your life, from your career to your personal relationships to your health. When you're under spiritual attack, your energy is being siphoned away, leaving you feeling completely drained, even when you think you should be feeling okay. There's a reason for this. Spiritual attacks aren't always physical in nature, but they can manifest in ways that affect your mind, emotions, and energy levels. Negative energies, whether they come from external forces or from unresolved emotional or spiritual conflicts within yourself, can have a profound impact on your well-being. When you're under spiritual attack, it's as if your energy is being drained by an invisible force. You might find yourself unable to perform at your best, feeling like there's a constant weight on your shoulders that you can't shake off. It's as if your life force is being sapped, leaving you with nothing but the shell of your former self. This exhaustion isn't limited to physical tiredness. It also affects your mental and emotional health. You might notice that you feel mentally foggy or fogged out, unable to concentrate or focus on tasks the way you used to. In some cases, the fatigue can even extend to your emotional life, leaving you feeling apathetic, disconnected, and even depressed. It becomes a struggle to feel motivated to do anything, let alone pursue the goals and aspirations that once excited you. The sense of overwhelm can grow so intense that it feels impossible to regain your footing. You might find yourself withdrawing from others, isolating yourself from friends and family because you feel like you don't have the energy to connect with them. One important aspect of this exhaustion is that it doesn't necessarily make sense. You might be getting plenty of sleep, eating a healthy diet, and taking care of your body in all the ways that would usually keep you energized. Yet, despite all of these efforts, you continue to feel fatigued. You might even feel a sense of hopelessness or frustration because there's no clear reason why you're so tired. The usual remedy, sleep, exercise, diet, don't seem to make a difference, and the fatigue persists, sometimes growing worse over time. The emotional toll that comes with this kind of spiritual exhaustion can be significant. You might begin to question your worth, your purpose, or your ability to succeed. The fatigue feels so overwhelming that it can make you doubt whether you'll ever be able to regain your strength. You might become disheartened by your inability to function at your best, and it can even lead to a sense of defeat or hopelessness. This is part of the challenge that comes with a spiritual attack. It's designed to make you feel weak, to make you question your own power and capabilities. So, why does spiritual fatigue happen? One possible reason is that spiritual attacks target your energy field, draining your vital energy and causing a disruption in your natural flow of vitality. This energy is essential to your overall health, and when it is disrupted, it can cause you to feel exhausted in every way possible. Just as negative emotions such as anger, fear, or resentment can drain your energy over time, spiritual attacks work to amplify these negative feelings, leaving you feeling depleted and unable to heal. Another factor to consider is the role of stress. When you're under constant stress, whether from external pressures, unresolved emotional issues, or even internal spiritual conflicts, it can lead to physical and mental exhaustion. The constant tension can create a sense of being on edge, even when there's no immediate threat. Spiritual attacks often work by heightening this sense of stress, causing you to feel overwhelmed even when things in your life seem relatively stable. The continuous pressure of negative influences can leave you feeling like you're fighting an invisible battle, and the toll of that fight can show up as fatigue. Sometimes these attacks are subtle at first, sneaking up on you in small ways until the fatigue becomes overwhelming. You might first notice that you're feeling tired more often than usual. Perhaps you find yourself needing a nap every afternoon, or you begin to feel sluggish and lethargic. Over time, this exhaustion becomes more pronounced, and you may even start to feel like there's nothing you can do to get your energy back. It's in these moments of complete depletion that you might begin to wonder if something more is at play. Recognizing the signs of spiritual fatigue is an important first step in addressing the issue. It's crucial to listen to your body and mind when you feel like something is off. If you've been feeling drained, even after taking proper care of yourself, it might be time to examine your spiritual and emotional state. Are there unresolved issues or negative energies that you need to release? Are there relationships or situations in your life that are draining you emotionally? By taking a deeper look at these areas, you can start to uncover the root causes of the fatigue and begin the process of healing. There are steps you can take to counteract spiritual exhaustion and regain your energy. First and foremost, practice self-care. Focus on nourishing your body, mind, and spirit. This means getting enough sleep, eating a balanced diet, and engaging in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. It also means taking time for reflection and meditation, allowing yourself to release negative emotions and energies that may be contributing to your fatigue. Engaging in spiritual practices such as prayer, journaling, or seeking guidance from a mentor can help you reconnect with your inner strength and begin to rebuild your energy. In addition to self-care, consider taking steps to protect your energy. This may involve setting boundaries with people or situations that drain you, learning to say no to demands that feel overwhelming, and surrounding yourself with positive influences that uplift and inspire you. Surround yourself with people who support you in your well-being and remove yourself from environments that foster negativity. Creating space for peace and stillness in your life can help replenish your energy reserves and create a sense of balance. Finally, understand that spiritual attacks are a test of your resilience and strength. They are not permanent, and with the right tools and mindset, you can overcome them. Your energy is yours to protect, and by reclaiming your spiritual health, you can regain the vitality you need to move forward with confidence and purpose. It may not always be easy, but taking steps to address spiritual fatigue is a crucial part of healing. Recognizing the signs, nurturing your well-being, and protecting your energy will help you restore your strength, regain your clarity, and rise above any challenge you may face. Constant negative thoughts or anxiety is another common and powerful sign that you may be under a spiritual attack. These intrusive thoughts often feel relentless and pervasive, as though they take on a life of their own. It's as if your mind is filled with a constant stream of worries, doubts, and fears that you can't seem to control. These negative thoughts may range from feelings of inadequacy to catastrophic thinking, where you imagine the worst possible outcomes for your life, career, and relationships. Even in moments when everything seems fine, you might feel an overwhelming sense of unease, as if something bad is going to happen, but you can't pinpoint exactly what. This state of constant anxiety and negative thinking is not simply a result of stress or external challenges. While stress can certainly trigger anxious thoughts, spiritual attacks often work to deepen this negativity, making it feel almost like an invasion of your mind. These thoughts aren't just random, they have a purpose: to lower your energy, create fear, and diminish your ability to see the good in your life. The aim of a spiritual attack through negative thinking is to weaken your resolve, disrupt your mental peace, and cloud your judgment. When your thoughts are constantly consumed with fear, doubt, or pessimism, it becomes difficult to function at your best, let alone pursue your dreams and goals. One of the insidious things about constant negative thoughts is that they often feel real, even though they may not be based on any tangible facts or evidence. For instance, you might start to worry that you'll fail at something, even though you have no reason to believe that's the case. You may fixate on minor setbacks or past mistakes, replaying them over and over in your mind, as if they define your future. This creates a negative feedback loop. The more you dwell on these thoughts, the more real and overwhelming they feel. And the more real they feel, the more powerless you become to break free from them. This cycle can eventually lead to a state of constant anxiety, where you feel as though you're on edge all the time, waiting for something bad to happen. Anxiety in this form can manifest physically, causing you to feel tense, restless, and even sick. You may experience difficulty sleeping because your mind is constantly racing with worries and fears. This physical manifestation of anxiety can further drain your energy, making it even harder to break free from the negative thought patterns that are taking over your mind. But why does this happen? Why do these thoughts feel so overwhelming, and why do they seem to persist even when there's no clear reason for them? From a spiritual perspective, when you are under attack, negative energies may target your mental state, seeking to disrupt your inner peace and create a sense of fear or doubt. It's as if the spiritual forces at play are trying to overshadow your light, replacing clarity with confusion and certainty with doubt. These negative forces aim to pull you into a state of fear where you become paralyzed by your thoughts, unable to move forward. This can happen in various forms. Perhaps you start to feel insecure in areas of your life where you used to feel confident. You might question your abilities, your worth, or your relationships, even if there's no apparent reason for these doubts. Negative spiritual influences thrive on your vulnerabilities, exploiting them to amplify your fears and create a sense of emotional instability. The thoughts may feel intrusive, as if they're not even your own. They can appear unexpectedly, coming into your mind during moments of calm or peace, and you may find it difficult to dismiss them. It's important to recognize that these thoughts are not necessarily a reflection of reality. They are being influenced by external energies that are working to shift your perception of yourself and your life. The more you give in to these thoughts, the more they control your mind and energy. Over time, they can erode your confidence, self-esteem, and sense of purpose. If you allow them to take root, they can begin to shape your reality, causing you to doubt your decisions and actions. This is why negative thinking, especially when it becomes chronic or pervasive, is such a powerful tool in a spiritual attack. The more you focus on your fears and doubts, the more they become entrenched in your psyche, making it harder to break free. There's also a phenomenon known as spiritual oppression, which occurs when negative spiritual influences weigh heavily on your mind. This oppression can make it feel as though there's an invisible force pushing down on you, preventing you from accessing your true potential and inner peace. It's as if these negative thoughts are not just the product of your own mind, but are being fed into you by something external, something that seeks to control you, diminish your energy, and prevent you from connecting with your higher self. When you're under spiritual attack, these forces may try to convince you that you are weak, unworthy, or incapable of achieving your goals. This oppression feeds on your vulnerability, leaving you feeling trapped in your own thoughts and emotions. How do you recognize when your thoughts are being influenced by negative spiritual forces rather than coming from a place of personal reflection or growth? The key lies in the quality of your thoughts and emotions. If your thoughts consistently revolve around fear, self-doubt, or feelings of worthlessness, and if they feel persistent or overwhelming, this could be a sign that something outside of you is influencing your mental state. These thoughts may not reflect your true nature. They may be the result of external spiritual forces trying to distort your perception of reality. The first step in addressing these negative thoughts is to recognize them for what they are. Instead of identifying with them or letting them define you, begin to observe them as though they are simply passing clouds in the sky. They may come, but they do not need to take root. Understanding that negative thoughts are not a reflection of your true self is a powerful first step in regaining control over your mind. By acknowledging that these thoughts are not your own, you can start to separate yourself from them and refuse to engage with them. Another important step is to practice mindfulness and grounding techniques that help you regain control over your thoughts. Meditation, prayer, and deep breathing exercises are powerful tools for calming the mind and breaking the cycle of negative thinking. By bringing your awareness back to the present moment, you can reduce the intensity of anxious or fearful thoughts, allowing them to lose their grip on you. Focusing on gratitude and positive affirmations can also help shift your mindset, replacing fear and doubt with a sense of peace and confidence. Reminding yourself of your strengths and accomplishments can help counteract the negative messages that are being fed to your mind. Building a spiritual practice that strengthens your connection to a higher power or purpose is also essential in combating negative thinking. When you have a deep sense of spiritual connection, you're less likely to be swayed by external negative influences. A strong spiritual foundation can provide you with the clarity, confidence, and resilience needed to overcome the mental and emotional challenges that arise during a spiritual attack. It's important to remember that you are not powerless in the face of these negative thoughts. Just as spiritual attacks aim to weaken you, your ability to rise above them can strengthen you. Every time you refuse to give in to fear, doubt, or anxiety, you reclaim your power and prevent these negative forces from taking hold. Your thoughts are a tool. Use them wisely. Choose to focus on positivity, empowerment, and inner peace, and you will begin to see the effects of spiritual healing unfold in your life. Sudden and unexplained conflict in relationships is often a telling sign of a spiritual attack. Relationships are meant to be sources of support, love, and mutual growth. However, when you find yourself experiencing an increasing number of disagreements, misunderstandings, or emotional distance, it may signal that something deeper is at play. These conflicts can occur with friends, family members, colleagues, or even romantic partners, and the tension can seem to come out of nowhere, escalating rapidly for no apparent reason. What may have once been a harmonious connection suddenly feels strained, and you may find yourself questioning the stability of these relationships. The cause of these disruptions is not necessarily an issue with the people involved, but rather the influence of negative spiritual forces that work to create division, confusion, and hostility. When you are under a spiritual attack, these external energies can exploit existing tensions, insecurities, or misunderstandings and magnify them, making conflicts seem larger and more personal than they actually are. These attacks may stir up deep-seated emotions, old wounds, or unresolved issues, leading to miscommunication and emotional outbursts. Even small disagreements can turn into major arguments, and you may feel like you're unable to find common ground or resolve issues with others. It's as if the normal course of your relationships is being hijacked by an invisible force, creating chaos where there was once peace. One of the ways a spiritual attack can affect relationships is by creating a sense of emotional disconnection. You might begin to feel distant from those you care about, even when there is no logical reason for this shift. Conversations that used to be easy and natural now feel awkward, and you may find yourself withdrawing from others without fully understanding why. This emotional distance can be especially confusing because it doesn't seem to have an obvious cause. Nothing in the relationship has changed externally. Yet, internally, there's a shift that creates tension and discomfort. You might feel as if you're being pushed away from others, or that they are somehow withdrawing from you. This emotional disconnect can cause you to question the authenticity of your relationships, and in extreme cases, it may lead to feelings of isolation and loneliness. The attack on relationships can also manifest as a pattern of unhealthy communication. In spiritual attacks, the enemy often works through words, manipulating and twisting communication to cause misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and resentment. A harmless comment may be taken the wrong way, or something that was said in jest may be perceived as an attack. You might feel misunderstood or that your intentions are being misinterpreted. This can escalate quickly, especially when both parties are unable to see eye to eye or agree on the situation. It becomes difficult to have productive, loving conversations when negativity is present, and before long, you may find that your relationships are marked by a consistent cycle of conflict and unresolved tension. These conflicts can be especially damaging because they create a cycle of negative energy that feeds on itself. The more these issues are left unresolved, the more they grow, leading to deeper rifts and greater emotional wounds. Every disagreement becomes a reminder of the division that is growing between you and the other person. Trust may begin to erode and emotional walls are built, making it harder to repair the relationship. The energy of the attack works by causing division and undermining the bonds of trust, affection, and understanding that are the foundation of healthy relationships. Spiritual attacks thrive on divisiveness, often using your relationships as a battleground. When you are under attack, it may feel like these negative forces are working to make you feel disconnected from the people who matter most in your life. This could be experienced as a sudden eruption of conflicts or a slow, subtle drift away from others. The effects can be devastating, especially if you feel like the people around you no longer understand you or support you the way they once did. Another aspect of spiritual attacks on relationships is the introduction of toxic influences. These could be people, circumstances, or even ideologies that sow discord and disharmony. You may find that people who were once supportive are now suddenly distant or critical, or that new individuals in your life are bringing negativity that destabilizes existing relationships. This could even extend to the people you're closest to, who may unknowingly become agents of disruption, because they're also affected by the same negative energies. A spiritual attack can have a ripple effect, causing not only you but also the people around you to become agitated, anxious, or emotionally unstable. This in turn creates friction in your relationships, compounding the conflict and making it harder to resolve. What makes the situation particularly frustrating is that these conflicts often seem irrational and out of proportion. You might find yourself in situations where you're arguing over trivial matters, and yet the emotions involved feel deeply intense. These fights may leave you feeling as though there's no way to win, no way to resolve the tension, and no way to restore peace. It's as if the conflict is being fueled by something beyond your control, and the more you try to resolve the issue, the more complicated and frustrating it becomes. In some cases, the arguments can escalate so quickly that you wonder if the relationship will ever be the same again. If you recognize this pattern of constant conflict or disconnection in your relationships, it's important to take a step back and evaluate the spiritual forces at play. Is there an external influence that's affecting the emotional dynamic between you and others? Are there negative energies or unresolved spiritual issues that are making communication and connection difficult? Sometimes simply recognizing that these conflicts may not be entirely your fault can provide relief, helping you to step outside of the emotional turmoil and see the situation more clearly. One way to address this is by practicing mindfulness and emotional grounding. Take the time to clear your mind and assess your feelings. Try to identify if the conflict is coming from within or if it feels like an external force is influencing your emotions. This awareness can help you separate yourself from the negative energy that's causing the disruption. It's also important to communicate openly and honestly with the people involved. If you sense that a spiritual attack is at play, it may help to have an open conversation with the other person about the tension you're feeling. By acknowledging the conflict and taking steps to address it, you can begin to heal the relationship. Another approach is to engage in spiritual practices that can help protect and strengthen the bonds in your relationships. Prayer, meditation, and energy cleansing rituals can create a protective shield around you and your loved ones, helping to counteract the influence of negative spiritual forces. When you strengthen your own spiritual health, you create an aura of positivity and peace that can spread to those around you, restoring harmony and connection in your relationships. In some cases, it may also be necessary to distance yourself from toxic individuals or environments that are contributing to the negativity in your relationships. If certain people or situations are continually draining your energy or causing unnecessary conflict, it may be time to reassess your boundaries and protect your emotional well-being. This doesn't mean you have to sever ties completely, but sometimes a temporary distance can allow space for healing and reflection. When you're under a spiritual attack that is targeting your relationships, it's essential to take proactive steps to protect your emotional and spiritual health. Recognize that these conflicts may not be entirely within your control and that external forces may be at play. By practicing self-awareness, engaging in spiritual practices, and communicating openly with others, you can begin to heal and restore the harmony that has been disrupted. The key is to remain grounded, stay connected to your inner peace, and not let external negative influences divide you from those you care about. Usual emotional fluctuations are one of the clearest indicators that you may be under spiritual attack. Emotions are a natural part of the human experience, and fluctuations in mood are common due to external circumstances, personal challenges, or even physical conditions. However, when these emotional fluctuations become extreme, unpredictable, or feel out of your control, it can signal that something more is happening. You might find yourself experiencing dramatic mood swings, going from happiness to sadness or anger with little to no external cause. You might feel overwhelmed by emotions that you can't explain or control, leading to feelings of confusion and frustration. These emotional highs and lows may feel so intense that you start to wonder if they're a reflection of something deeper, perhaps even a spiritual force acting on your emotional state. Spiritual attacks often seek to destabilize you emotionally by disrupting your inner peace and balance. The aim is to create chaos in your emotional landscape, making you feel vulnerable, insecure, and unstable. Emotions like anger, fear, sadness, frustration, and anxiety can be amplified by these forces, making them seem larger and more overwhelming than they truly are. In some cases, the emotions that arise may feel as if they're not even your own. They might seem foreign or disconnected from the situations you're experiencing. You may find yourself suddenly irritated by things that wouldn't normally bother you, or deeply sad without any reason you can identify. These emotional shifts can leave you feeling like you're at the mercy of your own feelings, unable to make sense of the ups and downs. One of the most insidious aspects of these emotional fluctuations is that they can make you question your own mental and emotional health. You may feel as though you've lost touch with yourself, as if your emotions are no longer in your control. You may begin to doubt your own judgment because the emotional responses you're experiencing seem so out of proportion to the circumstances around you. This can lead to a sense of disorientation and confusion, making it difficult to understand what is real and what is being distorted by negative spiritual forces. The emotional extremes that you're experiencing may even cause you to withdraw from others, as you fear that your erratic emotions will alienate those around you. This isolation can further deepen the emotional turmoil, creating a cycle that becomes increasingly difficult to break. Another key aspect of unusual emotional fluctuations during a spiritual attack is the way they can alter your perception of reality. When you're under attack, your emotions become a tool for manipulating your sense of what is true. For instance, if you feel sudden, unexplained sadness, you might begin to believe that there's something deeply wrong in your life, even when there is no apparent cause for it. Similarly, if you feel inexplicable anger, you might become convinced that someone is deliberately trying to hurt you, even if their actions have no such intention. These distorted emotions can lead to a skewed perception of the world, where everything feels more negative or threatening than it really is. In this heightened emotional state, it's easy to see the world through a lens of fear or resentment, which only strengthens the spiritual attack. These emotional fluctuations can also disrupt your ability to function effectively in your daily life. For example, you might experience periods of intense sadness or hopelessness that leave you feeling completely drained and unable to complete tasks. During moments of anger or frustration, you might lash out at those around you or struggle to keep your composure. These emotional extremes make it hard to stay focused on your goals, maintain healthy relationships, or even carry out basic tasks. The spiritual attack takes root by undermining your emotional stability, creating a sense of chaos that can spill over into all aspects of your life. What makes these emotional shifts particularly difficult to deal with is that they often feel uncontrollable. While most people experience emotional ups and downs from time to time, the emotional fluctuations caused by spiritual attacks can feel overwhelming and unmanageable. It's as if the emotions themselves are coming from an external source rather than originating within you. This can lead to a sense of helplessness, as if you're unable to stop the emotional roller coaster that you're on. The intensity of these emotions can be so consuming that they make it hard to find peace or clarity. You might feel trapped in a whirlwind of conflicting feelings with no escape or way to regain your emotional equilibrium. One of the key reasons spiritual attacks work through emotional fluctuations is that emotions are incredibly powerful and influential. They shape our perception of ourselves, our relationships, and the world around us. When you are emotionally unbalanced, it becomes difficult to think clearly or make rational decisions. Negative emotions cloud your judgment, making you more susceptible to doubt, fear, and insecurity. This emotional instability can cause you to react impulsively or irrationally, further perpetuating the cycle of negative energy. The more you give in to these emotional extremes, the more they drain your energy and weaken your spirit. The goal of a spiritual attack is to create such emotional confusion that you lose touch with your true self, becoming increasingly distant from your inner peace and strength. In some cases, these emotional fluctuations can become so severe that they lead to symptoms of anxiety, depression, or other mental health challenges. While mental health issues are not always caused by spiritual attacks, it's important to recognize when your emotions are being hijacked by something outside of you. Spiritual attacks often feed off negative emotions, amplifying them to the point where they overwhelm your mental and emotional health. If you find yourself feeling persistently sad, anxious, or angry for no clear reason, it may be helpful to take a step back and evaluate the spiritual influences at play. What can you do when you're experiencing these intense emotional fluctuations? The first step is to recognize that these emotions may not be entirely your own. While it's normal to feel emotions in response to life's challenges, spiritual attacks can distort those feelings and make them feel more extreme. By acknowledging that these emotional shifts are not always a reflection of reality, you can start to create some distance between yourself and the emotions you're experiencing. Recognizing that negative spiritual forces may be influencing your emotions allows you to reclaim your power and take steps to protect yourself. One of the most effective ways to address these emotional fluctuations is by practicing grounding techniques. Grounding helps you reconnect with the present moment, bringing your focus back to reality and away from the emotional chaos. Simple practices such as deep breathing, mindful meditation, or spending time in nature can help you center yourself and regain emotional balance. Additionally, prayer or affirmations can create a shield of positive energy around you, helping to deflect the influence of negative emotions. Engaging in spiritual practices that strengthen your inner peace is also key to overcoming these emotional fluctuations. Meditation, prayer, and visualization exercises can help you align with your higher self, fostering a sense of calm and clarity. By regularly practicing these techniques, you create a buffer against the negative energies that are attempting to disrupt your emotional state. Strengthening your spiritual foundation allows you to respond to emotional challenges with resilience and grace, rather than being swept away by the current of negativity. Another helpful strategy is to focus on self-compassion and self-care. When you're feeling emotionally overwhelmed, it's important to be kind to yourself and acknowledge that you're going through a difficult time. Give yourself permission to rest, recharge, and seek support when needed. Take the time to engage in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment, whether that's spending time with loved ones, pursuing hobbies, or simply relaxing in a peaceful environment. Self-care practices help to restore your emotional well-being, making it easier to navigate the challenges of spiritual attacks. If these emotional fluctuations continue or become more intense, it may also be helpful to seek guidance from a trusted spiritual advisor or therapist. Speaking with someone who can offer support, perspective, and tools for emotional healing can help you regain clarity and strength. Spiritual leaders, mentors, or counselors can provide valuable insights into the spiritual forces at play, helping you to address the root causes of the emotional instability. Ultimately, the key to overcoming unusual emotional fluctuations caused by spiritual attacks is to remain grounded in your own inner peace and to take proactive steps to protect your emotional and spiritual well-being. By recognizing the influence of negative energies, practicing grounding techniques, and engaging in spiritual self-care, you can restore emotional balance and regain control over your thoughts and feelings. The journey may not be easy, but with patience, persistence, and a commitment to spiritual growth, you can rise above the emotional turbulence and emerge stronger, more resilient, and more connected to your true self. One of the most noticeable signs of a spiritual attack is the feeling of constant fatigue and exhaustion, even when there is no apparent reason for it. In everyday life, people experience tiredness due to various reasons, such as physical activity, stress, or lack of sleep. However, when the fatigue feels overwhelming and doesn't seem to go away despite adequate rest, it may be an indication that you are under spiritual attack. This type of exhaustion is often not just physical, but also mental and emotional. You might feel drained on all levels, unable to find the energy to engage in activities you used to enjoy or even complete simple tasks. The exhaustion can become so pervasive that it affects your ability to think clearly, make decisions, or feel motivated to do anything. This type of fatigue can make it difficult to maintain a sense of normalcy, and you may begin to feel as though no matter how much you rest or try to rejuvenate yourself, the fatigue never completely lifts. The spiritual attack works by draining your energy, leaving you feeling worn out and vulnerable. Spiritual forces that target individuals often feed off of their energy and vitality, which can manifest as a deep sense of fatigue that doesn't align with your regular lifestyle or activities. This exhaustion may feel like a weight on your shoulders, a constant presence that makes it difficult to feel refreshed or energized. You might sleep for hours, but still wake up feeling as if you haven't rested at all, as if your spirit is tired rather than just your body. This can lead to frustration, confusion, and a sense of hopelessness because it seems like no matter how much rest or self-care you engage in, nothing seems to help. In addition to physical exhaustion, you might experience a lack of motivation or drive, even for things you once enjoyed or that were important to you. Spiritual attacks often target your passions and desires, attempting to suppress your sense of purpose and enthusiasm. This lack of motivation can extend to all areas of life, making it difficult to stay focused on your goals or pursue things that once brought you joy. You may feel apathetic, as though nothing has meaning anymore, and you might lose interest in hobbies, relationships, or work. This emotional and mental lethargy is a key sign that a spiritual attack may be at play, as the attack aims to keep you from taking action, achieving your goals, or moving forward in any way. This lack of motivation is often accompanied by an overwhelming sense of being stuck or unable to move forward. It may feel like you are trapped in a cycle of inertia, unable to break free from the mental fog or emotional heaviness that surrounds you. Even small tasks can seem insurmountable, and the idea of tackling larger projects or long-term goals can seem utterly exhausting. When you're under a spiritual attack, it's not uncommon to experience a lack of direction or clarity, which leaves you feeling paralyzed and unable to make decisions or take action. This paralysis is a deliberate attempt by the spiritual attack to keep you from moving forward in life, making it easier for negative forces to gain control over your thoughts and emotions. One of the most difficult aspects of this fatigue is that it often isn't immediately obvious why you feel so drained. There may not be any external factors like overwork or poor sleep that explain the exhaustion, which can leave you feeling confused and frustrated. You may question your own health or wonder if there's something wrong with you. In some cases, this persistent fatigue can even lead to feelings of shame or guilt because you can't understand why you're feeling so tired or why you're unable to function at your usual level. This can amplify the negative effects of the spiritual attack, making you feel as though you are failing or not living up to your potential. Another important aspect of spiritual attacks is that they can weaken your physical body by disrupting your energy flow. Just as the mind and emotions are interconnected with the spirit can also influence the physical body. Spiritual attacks often manifest physically as fatigue because they affect the body's natural energy reserves. If the spiritual attack is particularly intense, it can even lead to physical symptoms like headaches, body aches, or digestive problems. The constant drain on your energy can make you feel sluggish and weak, as though your body is not functioning at its optimal level. You might find it difficult to concentrate, perform physical tasks, or even care for your own basic needs. It's as though the very vitality that keeps you going is being siphoned away, leaving you in a state of constant depletion. To address this, it's important to first recognize that the fatigue may not be solely physical. Once you understand that the exhaustion is likely caused by a spiritual force, you can begin to take steps to protect your energy. This starts with acknowledging the presence of the attack and taking action to reclaim your strength. Grounding yourself through meditation, prayer, or other spiritual practices can help restore your energy and realign your mind, body, and spirit. These practices help to block negative influences and recharge your internal energy reserves. Even simple techniques like deep breathing, visualization, or self-reflection can make a significant difference in alleviating the sense of exhaustion. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle is another crucial factor in combating spiritual fatigue. Taking care of your physical health through proper nutrition, exercise, and adequate rest is essential for keeping your energy levels balanced. While spiritual attacks can drain your energy, maintaining a strong physical foundation can help your body recover and fight off the affliction. Eating nourishing foods, staying hydrated, and getting regular physical activity can help combat the physical symptoms of fatigue and provide the strength needed to counter the spiritual drain. Regular exercise in particular helps to release stress, clear the mind, and boost energy levels. It also fosters a sense of empowerment and resilience, which can help you combat feelings of helplessness and despair caused by the attack. Equally important is the need to create boundaries with negative people, situations, or environments that may be contributing to your exhaustion. Sometimes spiritual attacks work through other people, manipulating their actions or words to drain your energy. Toxic relationships or stressful situations can add to the spiritual burden you're carrying. If you find yourself constantly surrounded by negative influences or draining situations, it may be necessary to set clear boundaries and distance yourself from them. This might involve limiting your contact with certain individuals, avoiding toxic environments, or removing yourself from situations that leave you feeling emotionally drained. By protecting yourself from external sources of negativity, you create space for healing and restoration. In some cases, seeking support from a spiritual advisor or therapist can help you process the fatigue and restore balance to your life. A trusted spiritual leader can provide guidance on how to spiritually cleanse yourself, protect your energy, and overcome the attack. Therapists or counselors can offer support in managing any mental or emotional challenges you may be facing as a result of the exhaustion. Professional support can also help you address any underlying issues that may be contributing to the fatigue, whether they are related to stress, anxiety, or past trauma. Having someone to talk to can provide comfort, perspective, and practical strategies for coping with the draining effects of the attack. Finally, it's important to practice patience with yourself. Spiritual fatigue can be a long and challenging experience, but it's essential to remember that healing takes time. You might not feel better overnight, and there may be days when the exhaustion feels overwhelming. However, with consistent effort and spiritual dedication, you can begin to restore your energy and regain control over your life. By taking the necessary steps to protect your energy, nourish your body, and seek support, you can begin to break free from the grip of spiritual fatigue and reclaim your strength and vitality. This journey may require perseverance and resilience, but through spiritual growth, self-care, and inner determination, you can overcome the exhaustion and emerge stronger and more connected to your true self.